Okay, good morning, and here is today's Substack reading and some poetry. The title of today's Substack is Seeing the Secret Story You're Living In. We cannot be free from the past until we recognize the story we've been unconsciously living. We all carry a private narrative inside us, often invisible, rarely questioned, and almost always inherited from pain. These hidden stories are not the obvious ones we tell others. They're the ones we whisper to ourselves in the background, the ones that shape how we feel, how we react, and what we believe is possible. Most people live inside these stories without knowing it. The story might be, I'm not lovable, or I must not be a burden, or I have to hold everything together, or even life won't support me unless I'm perfect. These storylines often begin in childhood or in moments of shock, betrayal, or loss. They were formed as a kind of emotional survival, an attempt to make sense of what happened. But we rarely visit them as adults. We rarely ask if they are true. And so they become invisible laws quietly running our lives. The tragedy is not that we have these stories. The tragedy is that we think they are who we are. Most spiritual seekers eventually discover that all the spiritual work in the world does not liberate them if the underlying story remains untouched. Meditation doesn't rewrite the narrative. Positive thinking doesn't dissolve it. Even profound insights can become temporary if the original story, the one buried deep in the body's memory, remains unseen. Seeing the story is not an intellectual exercise. It is an act of courage. It means sitting quietly with the part of us that feels small or ashamed or damaged or unworthy. It means letting the old pain speak, not as a victim, but as a messenger. It means admitting that the past left imprints we never consciously agreed to carry. Presence does not erase the story, presence reveals it. And in the revealing, the story loses its authority. This is the beginning of true freedom. When the story becomes an object of awareness, not the author of our identity. In this way, awakening is not an escape from our history, it is an illumination of it. And as the hidden narratives dissolve, something extraordinary happens. We begin to live without the weight of those old constrictions and conclusions. We respond instead of react. We meet life as it is, not as it once was. We discover that we are not defined by the past, but continually renewed by the truth of the present moment. You can't change a story you can't see. But once you see it clearly, honestly, tenderly, without judgment, it unravels. And what remains is the simple, open presence that was here all along. The vastness beneath the story, the beingness untouched by history, the freedom waiting in the center of your own life. A few poems. Sorry, I've got a dog over there trying to get out. There is a great and noble transparency in standing naked with dignity intact when all attempts to wear a mask have come to an end, and only the raw, broken, beautiful you remains. Have you forgotten the fragrance of the garden in bloom? Even the distant memory of this innocence stirs the heart's longing and brings a simple joy to the suffering. A rebirth into love awaits the one who dares to die to every illusion, every falsehood, until only truth remains. This is a long one. When the fire comes, do not run. It is not your enemy. It is the hand of the beloved stripping away what struggles to love. The world burns with its noise and grief, with cries of sorrow and rivers of fear. But this same fire, when met with the soft eyes of awareness, becomes the hearth of your awakening. Do not harden against it. Let it kiss your skin. Let it find your trembling innermost. For in the places that tremble, the divine builds their home. Presence is the ground beneath the flames. It says, stay here. Openness is the sky above them. It whispers, let it all belong. Between the two, you are remade. Not the one who escapes the fire, but the one who is illuminated by it. Be the stillness in the blaze, the unbroken silence that listens, the heart that bows to both beauty and ruin. This is not the path of victory. It is the path of dissolving, where the self becomes ash and the ash becomes light. The fire of the world is fierce, yes, but your openness is fiercer. Your presence is vaster. And love is what survives the burning. Thanks for watching.